Hi guys, Isabella Greene here with a little bit of a controversial topic today. Please don't crucify me for expressing what my intuition tells me and my own set of beliefs, and also what I hear from other sources. So today we're talking about angels, lords of karma, and maybe a little bit about fairies as well. We live as human beings, we live within the sets of beliefs. Our beliefs constitute our reality. Our beliefs direct what we experience. Our beliefs show us beings and images and experiences that match our beliefs. I have done sessions with people, and I no longer do these kind of sessions, but at the beginning of my practice, I used to do sessions with people who were about to pass. Few of them passed, few of them didn't pass, few of them had near-death experiences and came back. And I was present during that whole process in the non-physical space. These people were most of the time in hospitals, and we're experiencing that separation from the body, either separation from the body for good or separation from the body temporarily and coming back into the body as in near-death experiences. I observed beings standing around that shaft, the tunnel, what we call the tunnel of white light, but it actually looks just like a shaft, and at the end of that there are beings. And I observed these beings standing there ready to receive each of these souls. It looked really strange to me because the beings kind of had like a accounting system. It almost, I guess that's what my brain translated it like, but it looked like they had that checkboard, like a board where you like check things off, like the doctors have in medical offices. Like, all right, check this soul is in. Let's take a look. Let's check it in. And with the ones who went back, the ones who had near-death experiences and went back, a really interesting process took place, and that's the process that we all know. That a lot of people who had near-death experiences talk about. That they are received by the beings who look like angels, and they're told that they were not good enough. That they were told that they were bad and they did things wrong, and they had all this karma and they had to go back to Earth to fix things, or that they were not allowed to leave yet because they had all this mess that they left behind and they had to go back and fix it. Same happens on the way out when people pass in and gone for good. They're immediately collected by the soul collectors, by the lords of karma, who sit with them or stand with them or look pretty with them or look like glowing angels with them and tell them that they had to go back to Earth. Well, let's take a look at that scenario. If we consider that source is the state of multidimensional, of unconditional multidimensional love, how can there be judgment for the people, for their souls, for their actions on the way out? That's very conditional, isn't it? So I have heard on a number of occasions of different sets of characters. One set of characters being the lords of karma. The other set of characters being the angels, or what the human beings perceive as angels. Let's take a look at that now. From different sources, like from Barbara Marciniak, I heard a very intense statement saying that angels are police force of the Anunnaki. The angels are very nice, sweet, glowing, beautiful police force that keep humans in check, that keep humans in position. making sure that humans do not outsmart the gods, that humans do not outsmart the system. They show up and they help a little bit, but they also work as showstoppers quite often. If you are at the threshold of exceeding what you are supposed to know on Earth. I have seen these beings. I have worked with these beings. I have seen these beings hinder people's progress. I have seen these beings collect souls at the end of that tunnel of light. And if you Google and you research, and if you step away from the set of beliefs that angels are beautiful and helpful and always wonderful, you might find a lot of sources that go with the same opinion that I have developed to this point, or at this point of my personal evolution, to say that these beings can be benevolent, but they can also be the showstoppers. And that's talking about the angelics, the angelic realm. That whole realm serves a purpose here. And if we look at the bigger picture, Earth is a colony. And I also get this from Barbara Marciniak's teachings. Earth is a colony. We hear that as well from Tanath of the Silver Legion. We hear that from sources I don't really remember right now, but I've heard that over and over. And every time I hear that, that resonates with my heart. We are very intuitive. If we put our beliefs aside and just ask ourselves what feels right. Does this feel right to you? Then yes, maybe that's your path to have this kind of beliefs. If it doesn't feel right to you, I'm in no way trying to convince you otherwise. So I'm just sharing here my observations and what my intuitive guidance tells me, and also what I have seen and I have heard from other sources as well. So the lords of karma, and Earth being a colony, we're being harvested. Remember the Jupiter rising? We are being harvested energetically. The energy of the human beings is precious for races who feed on this kind of energy, and sending us back to Earth to run the same kind of patterns, because we have this conversation with the beings, with the lords of karma at the end of the white tunnel. And they say, no, you cannot ascend. You have to go back to Earth and fix things. But then we get amnesia. We don't remember what it is we're fixing, but we are bound by the law of attraction, of attracting the same kind of stuff and doing the same kind of stuff over and over. And boy, that presents a fantastic feeding ground. Feeding on suffering, feeding on trauma, feeding on confusion, feeding on fear, and all other things that people come back and say, oh my God, that's my karma. And they only remember that was their karma when they depart from the body, unless they're doing the work. So these are the lords of karma. Just sit with this for a little bit and ask yourself, does this feel right? If this feels right, yeah, I'm on the same page with you. And if it doesn't, well, then I'm not. The interesting thing about this is that these are still dimensions where duality is present. And I mentioned fairies at the beginning. Fairies, if you research the fairies, and I'm going to put the link to the documentary about fairies and beliefs about fairies in the comments in this video. Fairies are presented to us as, or have been presented to us by Hollywood and Disney, but just those cute little beautiful beings who are flying around. They're so sweet, and we just expect only like beauties and joys and sparkles from them. But historically, and if you look at that, if you watch that documentary, we know that fairies come in different varieties. They come in the beautiful, fluffy variety, and they also come in the variety of the ones who can and have created a lot of discomfort for the human beings around them. And I'm not going to go into this, but well, yeah, I am going to go into this a little bit. Like the fairies that snatched children before in the forest, the fairies that caused illnesses, the fairies that caused death to people who tried to interfere or interact with their activities, or who just straight out saw them or disrespected them in some way. Well, that's a mechanism of defense, but these are the symptoms of duality in that realm. We have duality in our realm. Humans do. Angelics are very close to humans as well, and they are this in-between realm. There is duality there as well. The lords of karma are a whole different type of being altogether, or they have the whole different mission altogether, and that all serves the races that seeded the earth for the purpose of collecting energy from earth. So what do we do now, right? If we believe these things that I'm saying, what do we do now? Well, we can work with them. We can observe them, but we can step into being smart enough and not giving all of our power to what the angels say. We can also refuse to go into the white tunnel, into the white light. We can also refuse to interact with the lords of karma. When they collect us, we say, hey, no, you know what? I know you are faking it. I know I did my best. I know Source is unconditionally loving to me. God is unconditionally loving to me. What you're telling me is a program that's going to keep me in cycles of incarnation for God knows how much longer, millions of years. I don't want this anymore. Doing the work here while you are awakened and incarnated, pulling the timelines of like traumatic timelines, discovering these things while you are awake here and alive still, and bringing all these timelines into the present moment, processing that, looking at it, releasing all that so it comes out of the blind spot. That helps too. You shed the baggage, and perhaps you would bypass the lords of karma, because that all operates on guilt. That hooks you through guilt. If you worked through a lot of issues here, then there is not as much guilt that you're going to carry, and so then your hook is not going to be as strong to pull you into more of the human incarnations in the colony. So I actually do sessions that help people find these hooks and find these connections to past incarnations or parallel incarnations where the same trauma is happening, and we bring all that into the present moment, and that assists you to release these things. But this is what I wanted to talk to you about today, because it's been on my mind. Human beliefs around angels and around fairies too, and I love fairies. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're incredible beings, but there is duality there too. The message of duality is coming strongly in a lot of films lately. Like if we take Wonder Woman, for example, right? She says humans basically suck. Humans are evil, but humans also are capable of great deeds and great love. So there's that duality for you. So the same as for us, to not go into judgment, to not go into fear, but also to pay attention to how much power and how much of your own guidance you're giving up to the beings that you're working with, if you're working with angelics, to the beliefs of humanity that potentially were created artificially, about what happens after death, what happens during the near-death experience, what happens when you interact with angels, what happens when you see fairies. All right, so I'll put a couple links in the comments there for you as the backup material. If you're resonating with me here, then thank you for listening. And if you're not, I appreciate and respect your beliefs. So this is in no way to convert you. If you'd like a session with me, please reach out to me at isabellagreene.com and use session request forms, and I will get back to you to set up the time for the work. Take care. Thank you for tuning in today. Love you. Namaste.